Hi, guys. Can you hear me now? Yep, you should be able to hear me. Hi. Hi, everybody. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I was so excited to get this started on a good foot. I built Studio 2 here at SLC Puck, this new operation, and I didn't quite have the settings ready to go. Car Wash Channel, thanks for paying $2 to tell me that, by the way. You guys are more than welcome to pay me any amount of money you'd like to tell me anything. That's totally agreeable here at SLC Puck World. But thanks for tuning in. Hey, we're celebrating a big win for the Utah Hockey Club. I was saying this to nobody. I was speaking into the void. Ryan Smith just tweeted out, "Let's go UCH, hockey stick emoji, hockey goal emoji, big win." He nailed it right on the head. It was a big win for the Utah Hockey Club. Coming into this game, they were on a 5-game losing streak, and playing a team in an enviable position. Calgary right now, and let's see if the standings have been updated. But yeah, looks like they have been. Okay, great. So yeah, coming into this game, Calgary was in an enviable position, the second wild card spot in the NHL standings. They're still in that spot as far as I can see here. I think we're still waiting for some more scores to come in around the league. Hi, everybody. Hey, Justin. Thanks for hopping in. And by the way, feel free to hop in the chat and give your takes, guys. Would love to hear that. As you can see here, this is a new studio. I invested in some more equipment for a second studio to do more live game reactions. Now, I was speaking into the void. I didn't have this set up properly right off the bat, so I was saying this into a cold mic as opposed to a hot mic. But yeah, I don't want you to think that I gave up my luxurious basement apartment where you can see my washer and dryer next to my fridge behind me when I usually do post-game shows. I didn't give this up. This is in another part of the apartment. It might be the storage closet in the apartment. So fun to have this. It's studio number 2. Trying to get things totally ready to go. It looks like it still has some kinks I need to work out. Like the webcam that I have here doesn't seem to be working. So this is just the webcam on my laptop. So more advancements and technological breakthroughs coming. Again, we have the research and development team here at SLC Puck working around the clock, bringing you the latest and greatest in amateur podcasting technology here. But enough about the studio. It's fun. I just have some stuff here on the wall. I got a jersey. This is a season ticket holder blanket, the gift that they gave the season ticket holders. Someone gifted that to me, so really appreciate that. I got that on the wall here. So this is just like the studio at SLC Puck Studios, has sort of a lot of texture and flavor to it. We'll add to this as we go, but it's nice to have this so I don't have to run to Centerville to do post-game reaction shows. I can just do them right here from Sugar House. And now you creeps who want to follow, stalk me and wear my skin, know where I live and where I spend time. So, although I think I've said it pretty often that I spend the majority of my time at the Costco in Salt Lake City. So again, if your intention is to kidnap me and hold me for ransom, which I wouldn't recommend, by the way, because you won't get a lot, now you know another place to find me. So wouldn't it be fun? I have a view of my door right here. It wouldn't be funny if someone came in right now and came up and snatched me. That would be really good content. I almost wish some of you would. But anyway, back to what else is really good content. Talking about the Utah Hockey Club's victory, and yes, as Car Wash Channel makes it clear, this it's a great proclamation. We're undefeated in 2025. First victory here on January 2nd. It's a big one. Again, here, let me flip over to my second screen here, and I'm just going to have to adjust some settings here on the fly. Sorry here. Was not as prepared as I wanted to be for this. Hold on. Give me one second. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, great. All right, let me just move this over just a bit. Hey, we're doing all this on the fly. We're learning as we go here. All right, let me just put myself nicely in this corner. Perfect. Okay, so looking at the NHL standings, see right here, let me just flip over to the wild card standings. This was a big win for the Utah Hockey Club. It really was. They've had a lot of matchups lately that at very opportune times, right? Like They had matchups against the Stars, against the Avalanche recently. These are games that they needed to play in and win to get points towards a potential playoff berth. They lost both those games, way back in 2024, right? And so to get this matchup against the Flames, who right now are in that enviable position, that second wild card spot, to pick up a couple of points in regulation, I'll add that. That's pretty huge to get 2 in regulation on the road from a team that they're going to have to overtake at a certain point, or a position they're going to have to overtake. This is a big win for the Utah Hockey Club. So right now, looking at the standings here in this last wildcard spot, the Avalanche have that first position with 46 points. The Flames still behind them with 43. With 42 points, the Vancouver Canucks. And then right back in the mix of it is the Utah Hockey Club, now tied with the St. Louis Blues. 1-2 spots out of that second wild card spot. Let's look at some other scores, because there were a couple of games tonight that were pretty big and could have a big impact on how things go. Oh, this is too bad. Okay, so the Avalanche were trailing the Sabres for the majority of this game. Looks like they've come back to tie it up and send it to regulation. So the Avalanche are going to pick up at least 1 point in this one. It really would have been, if you're a Utah Hockey Club fan, you were really rooting for Buffalo to win this one to prevent Colorado from getting 2 points in the standings. Continuing on, another one to watch. This game was tied a little bit earlier. Again, if you're a Utah Hockey Club fan, you're cheering for the Seattle Kraken in this matchup against the Vancouver Canucks. Other big games to keep an eye on. Looks like the Wild, they're kind of out of reach right now, I would say. This was kind of a big upset tonight. The Ducks beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-3 in overtime. The Ducks took the Utah Hockey Club to overtime last week as well, and picked up a big win against the Clubbers, as it were. So the Ducks are playing a little bit better, and I think a lot of people were expecting them to be one of the worst teams in hockey. Not that they're not, but they're certainly not cellar dwellers. We'll hop back into the standings to check this out to see where the Ducks are. Yeah, the Ducks are comfortably out of the cellar. They're somewhat in the mix of it too. Right now, cellar dwellers include the Blackhawks, the Sabres, who we needed to beat the Avalanche, and in regulation that would have been nice, but not going to happen. So that's just a look around the league. But let's talk about this game, and I want to talk about the power of the podcast, the power that I have as a Utah Hockey Club podcaster. I wasn't aware when I started this podcast that what I would say would have a direct impact on the results of this team and the choices that are made. It's humbling to think that I've been endowed with so much power, but such is life. And it's a heavy burden. It's one I don't relish, but heavy lays the crown, and this crown is quite heavy. It's the crown of forecasting the future and making things happen. And in the last episode of SLC Puck, if you don't follow the show, what are you doing here, first of all? But second of all, please go ahead and check out the last episode that I dropped on Wednesday, which was yesterday. I called out Lawson Crouse. I said, listen, dude, you're having a bad year. I think the team needs to make you a healthy scratch. I think they should think about moving you in the offseason as well. And Lawson Crouse, friend of the pod, undoubtedly saw the show and was prompted to act. And that's what I wanted to do. It's kind of like the same way how Shaquille O'Neal used to call out Donovan Mitchell on Inside the NBA. And, Shaquille O'Neal would say, hey, I'm just doing it because I was trying to get the best out of you. You know, that whole shtick. I'm Shaquille O'Neal, and Lawson Crouse is Donovan Mitchell in this case. I was trying to motivate him into having a strong performance, and that's exactly what he did. So you're welcome, Lawson Crouse. I'm happy to help any chance I can. I want this team to do well. It means a lot to me when the team plays good, and I think it means a lot to all of us. I think we're all a lot more excited when things go well for the Utah Hockey Club. Lawson Crouse scores twice in this game, and he had the opening goal in the game. Another story that I think we were kind of watching game to game. Obviously, the last game against Edmonton, Clayton Keller was a last-minute scratch, like literally right as the puck dropped. Word broke that he was going to miss that Edmonton game due to illness. Liam O'Brien inserted into the lineup. Got to see a little taste of tuna that we haven't had in quite a little bit. Choppa wants me to say something about every single player. I gotta say, seems like a lot of work, but for the good of the team, for the good of this community, I'm happy to consider it. I don't know if I will. I'll show you what else I did to sort of help Lawson Crouse. This didn't actually get aired on the show, but I think I somewhat manifested it. I brought it into reality, and I'll show it to you guys here in just a second. But again, just to recap the game, Lawson Crouse gets the opening goal. Liam O'Brien in for Matthias Michelli, who got whatever Clayton, presumably the little bug that was going around the locker room, that bit Matthias Michelli. He was ruled out, making O'Brien activated once again, and it turned out to be pretty big. I thought O'Brien had a really nice game. I said this in my podcast. I said this guy's going to inject some energy to this team, regardless of, if he scores goals, he's going to bring an energy that people need. That was very evident as early in the game. Crouse scores the goal that comes off of a really nice forecheck by Liam O'Brien. That's what this team needs. I've said this for weeks. If you people have been paying attention, you know that I've been saying that the Utah Hockey Club needs to adopt a meat and potatoes mentality. They need to get pucks deep, forecheck hard, get the shots on net, go for rebounds, get dirty goals. Not that this goal was dirty, but it started with a forecheck by Liam O'Brien, who swung it to Ian Cole on a nice pinch. And I'm not sure, did he make the pass, or was that Bugstad who made the pass to Lawson Crouse? I'm not sure who it was. Thank you, Jordan. But anyway, the puck gets to Lawson Crouse, and he buries his first goal in 15 games. You're welcome. Just say that. So that was great. And then, the Flames tied up on a goal by Blake Coleman. Power play, too many men. That was kind of a soft call, I guess you could say. I had to go back and watch the replay. What happened on that one was that Ian Cole played the puck as the person he was going on for. Mikhail Sergachev was like a foot still on the ice. So that's too many men. That was the call that gives Calgary a power play. They capitalize on a rebound goal. I said this, and Brogan Houston said this as well in his game advance for Desert News. The Flames like to score their goals by shooting from distance, getting rebounds. That's exactly what happened. Utah did a great job stymieing that at first, but then they were able to cash in on their bread and butter with a goal by Blake Coleman. But then Logan Cooley, that little rascal, I'm going to call him the little rascal, because that's kind of who he is. That's what I've been noticing. I tweeted this out. If you don't follow me, I think I think Lawson Crouse had a good game, but I think I also had a good game on Twitter as the show I guess it was a show, but as the contest progressed, I thought my tweets were funny tonight. But Logan Cooley scores in the second to give Utah a 1-0 lead. Logan Cooley drew a penalty on that power play that he scored on. It was kind of a dumb penalty by gosh, I had his name written down. Now I'm crumbling here by Naz Kadri. He gets in the box, gives Utah the man advantage, and then Cooley cashes in. Calgary scores 2 goals after that to take a 3-2 lead, but then 3 goals by Utah Hockey Club in the third period. 1 by Keller, a second by Crouse, and then an empty netter by Kevin Stenlin wins the game for the Utah Hockey Club. So would love to see your guys' takes. Go ahead and hop in the chat right here. I do have a hotline, which you guys are more than welcome to call in. I am weary about having the phone live on the air because I don't know who anybody could call me, and God knows what you're gonna say. You guys might say something really wild, really out of pocket here on a live broadcast. So I don't know if I can risk that quite yet, but you guys are totally welcome to call in, give your take, leave a voicemail on the SLC Puck hotline. The number is 919-666-7825. That spells puck at the end. Kind of cool, right? But I think the story tonight is definitely Lawson Crouse. And again, I can't overstate the power of the podcast, because I don't know what other conclusion to draw from this. I think that there's something just magical happening with SLC Puck, and when I put something out in the world, it just seems to work. And what I mean by this is this. Here, let me just show you this. I got to cue this up here. Let me go to my second screen. So again, my thesis going into my last episode was that Lawson Crouse needs to step it up. And as such, I know I didn't presume that Lawson Crouse wanted to hear that from me, some guy who podcasts in a basement, right? I figure, hey, he's the sheriff. He's a man of law and order. I think it would be good for him to hear this from one of his brothers of the badge, so to speak, a fellow cowpoke. So I reached out to a cowboy on Cameo, I believe his name's Urban Cowboy, or Disco Cowboy is his name, Disco Cowboy. I reached out to Disco Cowboy. I explained the situation. I said, listen, Lawson Crouse, you might know him. He's a fellow cowboy. He's a sheriff. I don't know if you're the deputy. I'm going to deputize you to give a pep talk to the sheriff. And this is what Disco Cowboy came up with. Again, this is on my Twitter at SLC Puck, and I'll just play this for you guys right here.
Hey, Lawson, are you working out like this? Are you doing this? It's like cross-country skiing. It might help you. Yeah, turn that up. What's going on, Lawson Crouse? What's going on, big boy Lawson Crouse? Hey, Austin at SLC Punk.
Puck. It's SLC Puck.
And he said you need a pep talk due to the current season you're having.
Mm-hmm.
It's an off year, Sheriff. All right now, 7 points. Projected to have maybe 20. All right, your plus minus is not good right now. Anything below 0 is not good. Did you know that?
It's true.
You got to flip the script on this season, man. What's going to happen? Have you lost your fire? Okay, you're a big boy. That's not gonna get you too far, man. You doing some of the skill training? How many beers can you crush in an hour? That's what I'm interested in. Where's your fire, man? Where is it? It's all in your head, man. Everything's going on. You got the skills, but it's in your head, man.
He might have been right.
Your head's fucking with you. All right? You got to pull it together. Look, man, I know.
And there you go. I had to trim that for Twitter, and he kind of lost steam, tell you the truth. But the big thank you so much to Disco Cowboy. I would like to think the effort that he put into that made an impact. And I thank the Disco Cowboy. He's a great friend of the pod. I may or may not be reaching out to him to issue a congratulatory video to Lawson Crouse for a great game. I mean, had you told me going into this game that Lawson Crouse was going to come maybe, I mean, you could argue his shot on the empty net was blocked. You could argue that puck goes an inch or two away from that stick, or the other way, or it gets closer, it gets on net. Lawson Crouse came dangerously close to scoring the Utah Hockey Club's first ever hat trick. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's any coincidence that this happened right after, I summoned the power of Disco Cowboy. So big thanks to Disco Cowboy for doing that. He's a great friend of the pod. We'll bring him on again, maybe as a guest. That would be kind of fun to have Disco Cowboy on with us. What's funny about that guy is I reached out to him. I hired him. I was just browsing for people on Cameo, and I hired this guy. I was like, oh, this dude, this is the dude. And I was like, hey, I don't know if you know anything about hockey, but I need you to make a video for my hockey podcast about Lawson Crouse. Is not doing very well statistically. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, partner, I used to play in the Federal League. I love hockey. So this guy is a hockey player. This guy's a legit, professional, semi-professional hockey player. He knows what he's talking about. We love the Disco Cowboy. So I think Disco Cowboy should be a recurring character on the show. So that's something you guys can look forward to. I absolutely adore the man. And he did a lot of great work for us. So we'd love to get you guys, your guys' thoughts on the game. I think, other takeaways. Clayton Keller continues to show how clutch he is for this team. I'm sure if I really sat down and thought about it, I could probably think about 2 or 3 other instances this season where he's scored a very clutch goal, either to get Utah Hockey Club back in a game or to put them ahead. Tonight, his goal in the third period ties it up at 3-3 and gives Utah Hockey Club a much needed jolt to start the third period. I thought the first period definitely belonged to Utah Hockey Club. I guess you could argue maybe it's a little bit split. Second period definitely favored the Flames. A lot of costly turnovers for the Utah Hockey Club and penalties. Calgary, which is a surprisingly hard word to say, took advantage of that with a couple of goals and took a lead there in the second. But then the third period was all Utah, and I thought and Clayton Keller's goal early on really set the tone. But we saw some really good performances, and here's what I think you can say about this team, and I'm totally agreeing with Bad Clover here. This is my next point. I think it's interesting to watch a Utah Hockey Club broadcast, especially on SEG Media, on Utah Hockey Club Plus. I just from having done Nashcast, which by the way is coming on the 18th against the Blues, so make sure you get your Utah Hockey Club subscription to check me and Tyson Nash out. Well, we have a special guest planned for that one too. I'm really excited about that. But you watch the broadcast, and I don't know if this is like something unique in the hockey world. It feels like I haven't seen this like on a Jazz broadcast, where they don't shy away from like any narrative surrounding this team, especially like the negative ones. And I think they really talked about it before the Edmonton game, maybe touched on it briefly. They sort of addressed like the defensive zone issues that the Utah Hockey Club is having. But again, against the Edmonton game, Dom Moore in the studio with Sarah Merrifield, because Kim Becker she just had a baby, and I don't know if you knew this, but if you have a baby, you can't get right back into broadcasting. You got to wait a few days. Got to wait a little bit. But they talked about the issues that the third line was having. They don't shirk away from this stuff. They talk about it openly. From being around the organization, I heard this so much. That like one of our core values is transparency, so we're going to be transparent with you, Austin. We think you're amazing. Just kidding. But again, they talked very openly about the third line issues, and it's been something that's been discussed by like the traditional Salt Lake City media, in addition to what I've talked about on SLC Puck. I am very certain that the guys on that third line, Michelli, who was out sick tonight, Lawson Crouse, who has struggled until Disco Cowboy came to the rescue, Nick Bugstad, and the third guy whose name I'm forgetting right now because I'm struggling a little bit. Who's usually on that third line with the Utah Hockey Club? Sorry, guys, I'm kind of glitching right now. Daily. Thanks for being patient with me, by the way. Yeah, who is it usually? I'm not really sure, but anyway, so I'm kind of struggling to do this off the top of the dome here. What I'm saying is this team is very aware of all the narratives surrounding it, the positives and negatives. I think they've been like very fortunate to get like a lot of good press and a lot of good energy around the team. But when things aren't going great, I'm sure they're just as aware of that as well. And yeah, I think you could kind of see it in the last game against Edmonton and in tonight's game against the Flames. Like the third line came out like guns a-blazing. I thought Nick Bugstad was great. Crouse has been playing better the last 2 games than he probably had the previous 14, you could argue. And so it's encouraging to see these guys. They're professional hockey players. They know what their stats are. They know they're more aware of their game than anybody else. They're more aware of what's happening on the ice than any of us here in the SLC Puck world. And they're adapting their game. I feel like they've played with a lot of vigor, a lot more juice, a lot more force. And I do think that there is an element of tuna involved in that's helping as well. I think having O'Brien in the lineup has been huge, and you can't say enough about how well prepared he's been to get in the game. It's not easy to sit on the bench or to sit in the press box night after night. He hadn't played since October 28th. The game against Edmonton on New Year's Eve was his first since October 28th. So it's amazing to consider. Like he kept his conditioning up. It was funny, after he got off the ice, the first period against Edmonton, he was kind of gasping for air. He's a little bit out of breath, right? I think it took him a minute to get his legs under him. But again, I think he's a guy who wants to play. He loves to play. And when he does, he makes an impact. And it's so cool to see, because I think, again, the story on him was like, okay, he's making $1 million a year to essentially be like a cheerleader. Like he earned that at the welcome party by riling the crowd up. Okay, great. I could do that. I deserve $1 million, you know? No, he's a hockey player. He's a legitimate NHL guy. Is he an elite scorer in the NHL? Not at all. But I think there's a reason why he's made it in the National Hockey League, and it's because he brings something to a locker room. And when he's on the ice, he has an energy that is somewhat infectious and makes a point. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it's Crouse, Bukestad, and Michelli. Yeah, typically on that third line. So, again, I think there's something to swapping one of those guys out. And in Michelli's case, you know, he's sick. He's got the bug. But hey, take a night off. Go have some Alka-Seltzer. Go get a Shirley Temple. You're in Calgary, right? I don't know what the local cuisine is there. I'm sure there's a Bob Evans or Tim Hortons nearby. Go get a coffee. Hang out, watch the game from the press box. We got to get the ship righted. We'll get Spicy Tuna in there. He's gonna earn his $1 million a year, and I'm not saying he has earned $1 million this year, but he definitely earned his paycheck for this game. I thought he had some great scoring chances as well. It's nice to see Utah Hockey Club get this win, especially one that they really needed to move up in the standings. Let's just look back here at the stats. Vejmelka. Again, a couple of those rebounds were kind of tough. I think that's the one thing I don't necessarily think the Utah Hockey Club does super well. I don't think they clear out the front of the net especially well. So it doesn't surprise me to see them give up a couple of rebound goals tonight. Vejmelka makes 23 saves, gives up 3 goals, save percentage of 88.5. Let's see right here. Dan Villar, who filled in for Wolf. He gave up 5 goals, and then tack on an empty netter to that on 25 shots. So shot volume favored the Flames by 1. Let's just again go back to team stats as well. Penalty kill by Utah, which had been so good for quite a stretch. Gets a little chink in the armor tonight. I guess they allow 1 power play goal on 4 opportunities, but Utah cashes in on a power play goal themselves, and they had 3 opportunities in the game. That 1 goal came by Logan Cooley, who has been very good lately. Faceoffs favored Utah. Hits favored the Flames. I'm sure that's been the case in every single Utah Hockey Club this hockey club game this season. They've been out hit. Let's see what else here. I didn't see what happened with O'Brien's 10-minute misconduct where he and Kazar, gosh, I keep saying the name wrong. With Naz Kadri. I don't know why that name's so hard to get. Again, my brain has not been working very well lately. Naz Kadri. They got offsetting 10-minute misconducts. I didn't see what happened on that one, but there's kind of like a little pest element to that I sort of really appreciate. Because Naz Kadri, as much I can't say the guy's name, but I do know he's Calgary's second leading scorer on the season. To provoke him into a penalty that gets him off the ice for 10 minutes, that's a skill in itself. My good friend Tyson Nash, who made his bacon as a pest, drawing penalties for his team, would say that's a great tool, a great attribute you can bring to your team, and that's something Liam. That's another aspect of O'Brien's game that he brought to the table tonight. Jordan Rice, Ingram did he get traded? This would be breaking news to me. He's been reassigned. I thought he'd been reassigned to the Roadrunners on a conditioning assignment. So I highly doubt he's been traded in the last little bit, in the last, what are we at, 33 minutes. So yeah, he's just on a conditioning assignment with the Tucson Roadrunners. So that to me suggests he'll be back soon, which is good. I mean, Ingram has been bad this season. Let's just make that very clear. But he's still an NHL caliber goaltender. I don't think we can say that quite yet about Jackson Stauber. He might be one of we in baseball they call him like quad A guys who just go back and forth between AAA and the major leagues. You know, there's been quite a few of those who played for the Salt Lake Bees and the Los Angeles Angels over the years. I get the feeling Jackson Stauber is kind of in that category in the hockey world. So it's going to be really big. And another point to make is that Karel Vejmelka has earned the number one goaltender spot. I don't think that's weird or controversial to say at all, but having Ingram back is going to take a lot of pressure off of him, because Vejmelka has taken, I'm going to guess, maybe 90% of the starts since Ingram's been out. And that's a pretty heavy workload to put on one goalie. That's not something that, successful hockey teams do. There's a little bit more alternating that happens. So getting Ingram back, the fact that he's getting closer, he's going to see game action at the AHL level, I would assume, and certainly get a lot of pucks coming his way in practice settings and all that. It tells me he's getting close, and so that's going to be a big help for this team. Another guy is returning from injury. I believe someone pointed this out in the chat. John Marino is now skating with the Utah Hockey Club. He's wearing the Don't Hit Me jersey, the bright yellow Don't Hit Me jersey in practice. So that also suggests that he's working his way back in. That's going to be a big relief, because it's so sad to think where the Utah Hockey Club would be had they not been bit by the injury bug. Injuries to Sean Dursey, to Maverick Lamoureux, injuries to John Marino. Robert Bertuzzo's been missing a little bit of time as well. It puts a lot of pressure on guys like Mikhail Sergachev, and he's been fantastic this season. I think you could argue at parts he's been the team's MVP. But 82 games, that's a long time. I mean, we're only like 39 games into this right now. I'm tired. I'm not even playing. I'm just talking into a microphone sometimes, and I'm already exhausted. I can't imagine the strain that this is putting on Mikhail Sergachev, who by the way has been wanting this. He's wanted to be a number one defender in the National Hockey League, and he's gotten that chance with Utah, and he's been kicking ass, to tell you the truth. That's okay. It looks like Mike Folta retweeted the cameo, and so that's awesome. Cool. Good stuff. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, go. Lots of fun happening here in the Utah Hockey Club world. Big win. Car wash. Hey, let's be nice here in the chat here, guys. Hey, Bad Clover. Hey, I appreciate you. The technical corrections. Listen, we don't have to worry about semantics here. I barely say things right as it is. I forgot Naz Kadri's name on a few instances. I need some caffeine. So yeah, it's not a trade, just a conditioning assignment. But hey, what does it matter, right? To call a rose, it is what it is. So anyway, a big win for the Utah Hockey Club. That they really needed that, and there's some more tests coming up here on the slate for the clubbers here. And let's just look here at what's to come. They're going to stay on the road. And road games haven't been a bad thing, right? We appreciate how well this team has been playing on the road, which is weird compared to what we were expecting to see at home. But the narrative might be they're getting a little too jazzed up. And yeah, I use the word jazz, playing off of the Utah Jazz at home. But on Saturday, they're in Dallas, the Lone Star State, to take on the Stars. That's going to be on ESPN Plus. So, don't expect to see, no, it's not national TV. The next game after that, on Wednesday at home against the reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. That's going to be on TNT, True TV, and Max. That's their next home game. So 2 tough contests here. Preseason media darlings, the Dallas Stars, the team picked to win the Stanley Cup by the Hockey News. They've been having a good year. They're in playoff position right now, as well as the Florida Panthers, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, who a team a lot of people think are going to be back in the Stanley Cup final for the third straight year. They're having a great year. Sam Reinhart is proving people right. Namely those who gave him a big old contract extension. I read today a lot of people in the hockey world think he has a chance to score 60 goals this year. So the two big tests for the Utah Hockey Club coming up in the next couple of games. And then Friday, they'll be facing the San Jose Sharks at Delta Center again. And the Sharks, it's a little bit triggering. Every time I see the Sharks, I think of that 4-1 lead that the Utah Hockey Club blew that led to a 4-5 or 5-4 overtime loss to the Sharks. And that set off kind of a tough stretch there at the start of November. But now, hey, we got the monkey off our back. We got this 5-game losing streak behind us. And this is a team, this team has swung back and forth on both sides of the pendulum so much. It's been winning streak, losing streak, red hot, ice cold, blah, 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 no middle ground, all that stuff, right? Let's see what happens. I think getting hot again is kind of what I'm in favor for. So we'll see how that goes. We'll be following that for you on SLC Puck. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Check out the podcast if you haven't. I got merch for you too. If you like the hat, it's a snazzy hat. It's at slcpuck.shop. So go ahead and check that out there. Eat, Pray, Love, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, like, comment, subscribe, SLC Puck, be kind, and God bless. Hey, I hope 2025 continues to be a good one. Hey, 2 days in, undefeated. I like the way we're starting, right? That's pretty good. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll sign off for tonight. We'll be back with a podcast for you on Sunday for sure. And hey, what the heck? Just pencil me in for a post-game show after the game on Saturday. And I'll take a 5-hour energy right before that. Be a little more energized for you. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. And we'll talk soon.